Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Business and Beyond's Feature Friday with yours truly, Tania Bartolini. Today, I have a special guest. She is Dr. Louise Swats, sorry, Swaltswalter.
Swartzwalter.
Thank you, Swaltswalter,
It's so
Dr.
long.
Louise, Dr. Louise Swaltswalter, who is a frequency medicine pioneer, naturopathic doctor, and transformational coach specializing in brain optimization for entrepreneurs. With 30 years of experience and 50,000 plus clients served, she created the Brain Soul Success Academy and the Brain System to deliver rapid, lasting transformation. She has been featured on KKOB Radio, KOB TV, Inc. 5000, and Albuquerque Magazine Top Docs. So I am very excited to welcome Dr. Louise. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's so exciting to be with you today. Thank you, Tanya, for having me.
So, can you tell me a little bit about what you do and why you got into it?
Absolutely. I was a school teacher right out of college. I was a special education teacher, and then I ended up getting really sick. So I had three autoimmune diseases, or at least they didn't know, doctors didn't know. So the diagnosis at the time after my son was born was chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, or MS. I was super, super sick. And I can share a picture here in a minute. And I just wanted to be a mom to my kids. So I was on oxygen for 3 years. I had all my mercury fillings taken out in one day. I literally crashed. I went down to 89 pounds and I was just struggling to live. So I ended up becoming a pesticide activist because pesticides made me so sick. And we had 14 articles in the Chicago Tribune. I lived in the Chicagoland area at the time. Thousands of people would call me from those articles and say things like, "Hey, my dog had seizures and they just sprayed the lawn next door with glyphosate. Do you think it's related?" So I like learned a lot back then, but I was forced to in a way you know, but that really put me on my whole path of natural health, right? So then I started looking because medical doctors weren't helping me. So I ended up in this whole world of chiropractic and acupuncture and spiritual work and energy work and just anything. I was going to do anything to get well. It took me a long time. It actually took about 16 years. And I moved my family from Chicago to Taos, New Mexico, where there were no lawns. It was all sagebrush. That's how I ended up there. Low mode, low mold, right? Here, beautiful blue skies, cleaner air, and there wasn't the glyphosate and the mosquito abatement that was happening back in the Chicagoland area. So this was like God's country to us. We saw double rainbows every day during the monsoon season. I kind of felt like I came to like heaven. Like I was like, wow, this is amazing. But totally different, right? Totally different culture. Tiny, tiny little town, not the big city. So we were there for about 7 years and then we moved to Albuquerque. And during that time, I decided to go to the naturopathic school. I was like, I should get the paper on the wall. I already know all this stuff. I had to learn it. So why not get certified? So I did that. And then it put me in this path of learning neurobiofeedback and frequency medicine and NLP work and trauma release work and pranic healing. And I've done all the energy work classes. And then in my center, I started Albuquerque Natural Health Center. That was my first business. And I started in my house. And then I moved to an office, and I remember being really scared to do that because I was very chemically sensitive to things. And I was at a class, actually, it was an acupuncture class, and the woman next to me said, "There's this little beautiful office that is for rent right next door to me, and this lady had to leave and go back to California. You should come see it." And I was like, oh, maybe I'm getting a message here about something. So I ended up seeing this office and I ended up renting it. But I remember being really scared. I was really scared to do that. And I remember meeting with the landlord and I was so passionate about what I was doing, Tanya. I just really wanted to help people. So once I got better, my next goal was how many more people can I help with what I learned? And the landlord said to me, "You can't afford this." And I said, "Watch me." So I ended up like not paying myself for a while, paying a front desk person, paying the rent, the electric, doing all that. And I slowly built it. And it was 20 years. I helped a lot of families here. They still call me here in Albuquerque. And so that was my like learning ground too. Because
That
we learn from our people. I might have taught them things, yes. And I am a great teacher, but they were my teachers.
that I love that you said that. So first, I that is such an inspirational story, and I'm sorry that
Mhm.
you had to go through that, but I'm kind of happy that you are where you are now because you're helping so many people on so many levels that are
Mhm.
natural, that are actually healing them. And that's another reason why I was so excited about having you on this show because it is a business show, right?
Mhm.
However, I believe that everything starts from within us. And whatever we
Mhm.
do, whatever we feel, whatever we believe will seep into our business just as it does in our life, on a daily basis.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've seen a lot of business. So, that was my first business. And then about 11 years ago, I was working both. I started Brain Soul Success because what I really saw was a lot of the people that I work with, and I work with a lot of business owners here in Albuquerque. And for them to really be successful in their business, it wasn't the marketing plan. It wasn't the book they wrote. It wasn't the speaking. It was actually the inner work that reflected in the outer. And so what I figured out was we have to do a multi-sensory program to heal. And it literally started out with just your physical body. I did a lot of the physical body, helping people detox, making them tinctures, all of those things, the nutritional parts. And yet they still had emotional issues. They still had spiritual issues. And so I started like putting this whole thing together and realized, and it became my brain system. And I can actually show you a picture of it. Let's see if I have it here. Um, I like visuals because I was a special ed teacher.
That
Um, anyway, so it became a system, and I actually trademarked it, and it's called the brain system, and it's multi-sensory, multi-dimensional, and this is for business owners. I use it mostly with business owners now, not like in my clinic, okay? But you've got to get your body healthy. So if you're a business owner and you're eating McDonald's every day and you're not sleeping at night, you're not going to be successful. It's about eating healthy, exercise, sleeping, all the lifestyle things, taking care of yourself if you really want to be at your optimal peak performance. And then releasing is a big part of it. It's releasing the emotional baggage. And what we do, Tanya, is we figured out how to release ancestral programs that are keeping you stuck.
wow.
Right? So, like one woman wanted to be successful in her business, and we found that, when we had to clear money blocks for her, her grandfather had a bankruptcy. When we cleared the bankruptcy, money started coming in. Okay. So we have to release all that old stuff. It could even be something from childhood, maybe childhood abuse, whatever it is for you. It's different for everyone. And then we align with spirit and raise your frequency to attract that prosperity. So, God, Buddha, whatever you believe, is always a part of success, right? In business and in life. And then integrate your brain frequencies to your soul's true purpose. So we have to have a purpose or a direction. It's like getting in a car without a GPS and not knowing where you're going, right? You've got to have a
Yeah,
goal
what's
or
the
an
point?
intention. Yeah.
That's
And then we put it the new program, and this is missed a lot in a lot of other programs or transformational work. I'm going to say personal growth work. We have to rewire, put in the new program of how you want to feel and be or what you want to achieve and in your energetic field. So we're actually energy beings before you have a physical body. So a lot of times at, my events and, with my people, I show them that we can clear the pain that's in your shoulder, but in the field, and the pain will go away. Mhm.
See, and that I love that because earlier you had said where, you work on a multi-dimensional level. And look, we are multi-dimensional beings, right? We are a
Yes.
spirit and a physical body. We have
Yes.
emotions, we have different things, and it all works together, right? And so I
Yes.
love that you're working on all different aspects instead of just the body, just
Yes.
physical, because if you don't release those emotional blocks, your physical
Mhm.
pain is going to continue to come.
Absolutely. And again, as business owners, you're human. You're going to have good days and bad days. You're going to have pain sometime. Maybe you have an injury because you've been playing tennis and you got a tennis elbow. You're going to have stuff happen, right? But when you have these tools and you could clear it quickly, you can always stay up. You can always stay in a high vibration. Another quick example here that might help many of you. This is an axon and a dendrite. So I'm showing a picture of two nerve endings. And there's a space between the nerve endings, and that space is called the synapse. And the masters teach us that we heal in the spaces. Well, that little synapse, the neurotransmitter, the happiness neurotransmitter, happiness hormone, many of you have heard of it as serotonin. It has to leap the space. Well, here's what happens when your doctor puts you on Prozac or you're feeling depressed or a generic kind of form of that. That space has trauma in it and it doesn't allow those serotonin to leap, whether it's serotonin, dopamine, whatever the neurotransmitter is. So, what we do at Brain Soul Success is we clear the trauma in the spaces of the brain. And it allows you to be aligned, to be in a higher vibration, and to be on your dime, so to speak.
So, does that also work for ADHD? Because I know ADHD is a block between those transmitters, the
Absolutely.
neurotransmitters.
In fact, because I was a special ed teacher, my first clients were my ADHD dyslexic students. And then they invited their mom and dad in, and grandma, and then it just kind of snowballed. That's how my business actually started. But I wasn't always able, to be this eloquent with you and to be here in this kind of way. I mean, I was really, really sick. So I'll show a picture here, and you can hop over to YouTube and take a look if you like. I mean, I was literally on oxygen for 3 years and I had no front teeth. So I
Wow.
was in my 30s then. I'm in my 60s now. So it took a long time. And like I said, we moved my family to Taos. It's a really hard time for us. We were $84,000 in credit card debt. It was crazy. It was crazy. I didn't even feel like my life. I was still sick there. My kids are little, now they're older. So I'm showing pictures of my family here. This is my son, Andy. He is so amazing and smart, and his girlfriend, Stephanie, and my daughter's husband, Justin, and their son, Ethan. So Ethan is now about 23 months and so completely grateful for all of these tools. And when we use the brain system, this is actually what happens. This is McKenna. She had a lot of abuse, came up to the stage, and we cleared her abuse in probably an hour and 10 minutes. So this is a before and after picture I'm showing. And her after picture, she's smiling, her eyes are sparkling, her cheekbones are lifted. You can totally see that all of that abuse she had as a kid is gone. The difference is when you use a system like this is it sticks. It sticks.
Well, because you're not only clearing it, you're not leaving a void after you clear it, right?
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
what happens with a void? It sucks in anything around it. So it just becomes clogged up again, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this was Christina. So Christina, this is her before and after. It was actually an online event during COVID. And so she lost her husband and a sister. So it was a lot of grief. And I said, Christina, please let me work on you. She said, I'm scared to do that. I said, you know what? It's going to be more powerful in the group. Let's go for it. And so I, invited her in and we did this big brain system clearing on her. And I got to tell you, I mean, her business just rocked after that. So 3 months later, this is her again. You can again hop over to YouTube and take a picture. She is smiling. She is lighter. She is happier. Her business doubled. after we cleared that grief pattern. So sometimes we don't even really know what's holding us back. And it can be old like that, can be something that you just think you already worked on it, you know? And I like to find those. I like to dig in and just go, no, 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 no. You don't have to hold that anymore. Let's change this scenario for you, you know?
That I love that you said that because a lot of people I find think that, oh, I already worked on it. It's gone. I don't know what's happening now. Right. And
Mhm.
it's a process. It's not,
Mhm.
you can't just do one thing and expect it to be a miracle, right? You can't go to the gym
Right.
one time and expect to have muscles defined and be a bodybuilder, right?
Right.
So it's the same kind of concept. And I love that you said that because I want to reiterate to everybody it's always a process. Just
Mhm.
like when someone wrongs you, right? And you forgive them, you don't forget that it happened. It happened. That will never change. But what changes is your perception of it. What
Yes.
changes is how you feel about it, how you use it to your
Mhm.
advantage rather than to your disadvantage.
You very well said. Yes, Tanya.
It,
Absolutely. Because we're all human. And again, as an entrepreneur, you are the business.
and
So your mental state and where you're at is going to reflect in your company,
100%, right? I
right?
always tell people you and your company are two different things, right?
Mhm.
It is not your identity, it is not who you are. However, who you
Mhm.
are does reflect in your company because it's
Yes.
yours. You're the one who's putting in your energy, and whatever that energy is, it's going to come up.
And I can look back over the years too. I mean, I've had two businesses. It's been 30 years, and I can see, when I was, going through something or not completely aligned. I use my tools all the time, but again, we're human. And so maybe things weren't going as well right then, and, you're still going to do this. You're going to go up and down. That's just how it is. It's the resilience that you have when you're down. Where are you at? What is your mental and what tools? The other part that's why I teach all these tools now, right? So it's the fish in the sea thing. I'm certifying coaches in my work because if I want to change 10 million brains by 2030, the only way to do that is have more people helping.
Wow, that is a tall order to fill. 10 million brains by
Yes.
2030. You have 4 more years to go.
I know I did a million because I saw so many people and I've already taught, I don't know, 11 years of, having coaches in my system, so I've already done that, but I have not done the 10 million thing yet, but the fish in the sea thing, right? So if I teach other people and they share it, so literally what happens is families change. You learn these codes and these tools, the brain soul tools, and they'll say, well, gosh, my grandkids are doing better. Gosh, my kids are doing better. Gosh, guess what? My husband cleaned out the garage and, he's never done that. He's more motivated than he's ever been. What's happening? You know, and it's using the frequency and the tools, the brain soul tools.
And I love that you brought that up because that is exactly why the way you are, the way you feel, your frequencies seep into your business because
Mhm.
everything is connected, right? Everything is
Mhm.
frequencies and energies. And we know this is a fact through science.
Yes.
And so if your frequencies and your energies are heightened, you are much more likely to affect everything and everyone around you to a more positive, heightened
Mhm.
level because you can bring them up with you. And when it's
Yes.
not heightened, I don't care how much you pretend, how big a smile you put on, those energies and those frequencies are still going to flow out of you. So
Mhm.
yes, thank you so much for bringing that because I want everybody in the audience to understand that sometimes you don't even know what is the block, right? Sometimes you're doing
Yes.
everything correctly, but like you had made given that example with the grandfather who had a bankruptcy.
Hmm.
Right. Sometimes we have no idea, and it might be something that was generational and not something that has happened to you specifically because we're
Exactly.
all so connected.
Yes, yes. And when I have a group of people, well, group energy is really powerful. In fact, we could do it here if you want, because I can clue into the group audience, not just you, but the audience that's listening here, energetically and clear some stuff if you want to do that. So we
Oh,
can do that too.
oh, how exciting.
Yeah.
I would definitely welcome that. Thank
You
you.
have to feel it. You have to feel it. And again, my goal is to change as many people as possible. So the more opportunities I have to do that, the happier I am too. I'm like, yay, let's do this. Um, for sure. Okay, well, let's see if we can do something really quick here. Okay, can we use you as a surrogate for your audience?
Yes. If I can be a means to help, let's do it.
Okay, okay. So the first thing I'm going to ask you then, Tanya, is what do you want to have change or be different? Give me like a sentence that you think everybody here listening might really want to have happen in their business or their life.
So worry less about the money and more about the impact while living more comfortably.
Can we change the worry less to something positive? Maybe just I'm making an impact.
Okay.
And then finish that sentence. I'm making an impact or a big impact.
I am making a big impact on the work, no, the people around me
Okay.
and creating a better life for them and myself and my family.
Okay. A better life for myself and my family. Awesome. Okay. So if you're making a big impact on the people around you and you're making a better life for yourself and your family, what would you tell yourself then you're not telling yourself now?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Okay. So the self-talk might be different, right? Because you started out with, hey, I would worry less. And
Yeah.
I would make a big impact. So that's telling me as I listen that there's, worry there when you want to be more in. I usually do this. I show a pen and I'm like, okay, at the top is trust and at the bottom is worry. And you can't be halfway. You can't be a little bit worried and a little bit in trust.
That's
Okay.
so it would definitely be in trust that everything works out my way.
Yeah, I trust that everything works out my way. Absolutely. It's getting that higher level of trust. Awesome. And if you're telling yourself, hey, I trust that everything's going to work out my way, and I'm making this big impact now for the people around me and the better life for myself and my family, how would that make you feel?
Oh, ecstatic.
Yay! Okay, I feel ecstatic. Okay. And so I just take all of those, um, and I'm going to put all that in a box here. So this is you feeling ecstatic, making that big impact. Yourself, your family. We should put self, family, and business, right?
That, well,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, self, family, and business. And that you're trusting that it's all going to work out. Okay. And then I ask the question. This is an intuitive process, and I just ask a lot of questions, and I'm actually muscle testing. So I'm going into my intuition and just picking up the audience and you and saying, okay, how many people or situations are affecting that goal from happening? Right? So is it one, two? There's at least two. So then I draw two strings off a box. So you can't read it really, but it's a box with two strings. Okay. So that's just what I got there. And then I say, okay, who's this first string? Is this a person, place, or situation? It's a situation. Is it a situation that's recent or old? It's an old situation. Is it an old situation specifically with Tanya? Yes. Is it also an old situation for other people here listening? Yes. Is this something from our childhood? Yes. Is it age 0 through 5, 5 through 10? It's age 5 through 10. So 5, 6, 7, it's around 7. Is it 7 or 8 for people in the room? Could it be 7, 8, or 9? So this is something around age 7, 8, or 9.
Huh.
And then I would obviously, when we're little kids, it could be our parents too, involved with us energetically. So then I ask, hey, is it something with mom or is it something with dad? And I get dad. Is it dad for everyone in the room? It is. So this is something with dad when you were 7, 8, or 9. Now, you yourself may remember something, maybe not. Do you remember anything around 7, 8, or 9 when with your dad?
Not 7, 8, or 9.
Okay.
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay. And sometimes, and we can even ask this question, sometimes it's not your interaction. Sometimes it's dad's energy in your field, in your energetic field, meaning you're affected by him around you. Maybe he came home from work, frustrated or crabby or something. You don't, it could be anything little like that too, but you have his energy in your field. So I get frustration and overwhelm. So maybe dad had frustration and overwhelm and you know, you're this beautiful little girl, and of course you're picking up on that energy. And it's constricted energy, constricted. And I'm looking at lists of words here. Also got isolation. Isolation. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. Anguish. Worry. Is there another word I need to say? No. Is there entities in the field? No. So here's how we clear the brain soul. Okay. We ask, was this energy of dad in your field around 7, 8, or 9, his frustration, his overwhelm, his constricted, his isolation, his anguish, his worry, was that a liar, thief, or fraud on you being able to feel ecstatic in making this impact? And I get a thief. Now I know that sounds funny. When I first started learning this, and my one of my coaches, my amazing mentor, taught me this. And when I first started learning it, I was like, they're not a thief, they're a nice person. What do you mean? How can I say this? It didn't make sense right away. I was like, but here's what I learned the more I did. And then I practiced. I was up till 2 in the morning. I kept practicing. And then I was starting to teach it to like my front desk person at Albuquerque Natural Health Center. And she goes, you made me a crazy woman. I've been up for like every night till 3 in the morning, clearing everything. My dad, my granddad, my goats, my everything. Um, and so it's true that it was a thief because it's a soul level, meaning it's not your soul's truth. And so it stole your validation, your triumph, your success. You're reclaiming validation, triumph, and success in another way, guidance and protection.
So interesting.
I know, isn't it fascinating? And it's different every time. That's why I'll never get bored, right? It's just different every
Well,
time.
and I just figured out what it is.
Oh, okay.
Would
What
it
is
help
it?
to say it?
Yes, please do.
So I remember getting a report card, and I think it was around that age, and I did
Okay.
not get 100% on all of my subjects, and I was going to run
Okay.
away from home.
Ah, okay. Okay, that's really, really, really good information. Yes, because again, you were, afraid that dad was gonna, maybe or
Be
mom or dad, or both,
disappointed
you were
that
gonna
he
get
was
in
going to be.
trouble.
I did not think I was going to get in trouble, but I did not want him to be disappointed in me.
Ah, that's good too.
And
Yeah.
that's where the thief, right? That now it
Yes.
all makes sense. That is so
Yes. So
interesting.
let's see if, thank you for sharing that with us, because I'm sure there's similarities in the field here with other people listening. So do we reclaim your validation and your protection? Yes. And your success. Yes. Is there something else we need to do with this? Is there another word? Well, trust for sure. Um, is there another word we need to say? No. Do we need to do a visual of this? Okay, so here's the other piece. Since you shared that with us, what happens? This is the trauma in the space of the brain. We hold those visuals even if it's far distant back, you were age 7 or 8, right? Um,
I
and it,
still see it
you
clearly.
do? Okay, I had a feeling we had a clearer visual. And so that little visual creates like what I call a cellular little bump. It creates actually a lesion in the brain. Okay.
That's
And we got to clear the lesion. And so this, a lot of therapists use this technique. It's called EMDR. Now, I find that when we use EMDR with a soul tie box in a multi-sensory way, it sticks. You could have done this with a therapist years ago and did the EMDR, and it wouldn't have been as powerful because we didn't do the liar, thief, or fraud thing. Okay. So I want you to picture, because you can see it clear as day. And that feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm going to disappoint my parents, So bring up the feeling, see it in your mind's eye. And I'm going to ask you to keep, and you all can do this too listening, keep your head straight, but your peripheral vision is going to follow my fingers. So it's like your eyes are moving, but not your head.
okay.
Okay. While you see that image, because it's clear as day for you. And then look up. And then look down. Look to the right side of the floor and down, kind of angle your eyes. And then to the left. Then come back to center. And then circle your eyes like you're going around a clock. So just your eyes are moving around the clock. And then the other way. Good job, Tanya. Did we successfully clear that? Yeah, you're smiling. Do you feel like it's lighter or like fuzzier, like it's not as, like it's maybe not as strong, that picture?
That it is a little bit fuzzier. I think in my experience with things like that, it takes a little while for it to kind of fizzle out. It's not a
Okay.
quick, right? Is
Okay.
that accurate to say?
Yeah, and everyone is
There.
different too. So we want to say that for everyone here too. So we're clearing some energy from 7, 8, or 9. And I hope you did this with us too if you're listening. If you had something happen at 7, 8, or 9 that's kind of coming in, a little picture in your mind, I hope you can go back and listen to this and do that little exercise with us. Oftentimes it's just like a little more distant or fuzzier, but you're right, everyone processes differently. Some people will feel it right in the moment, and others of you will feel it over the next, like, 4 to 8, 10 hours here.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, yeah. So we cleared that energy. There's another string here. Let's see, what else is it? Is it affecting you, making that big impact? It's affecting the trust. So let's see what that is. Is it a male, female, or a situation? It's a situation. Is it recent or old? It's an old situation. Is this old situation something with Tanya or people in the room? No. Is this an ancestral string? Yes. Is it something on dad's side? Is it something on mom's side? It's mom's side. Is it mom's side for everyone in the room? I get yes. So this is an old situation, probably a mom's side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 generations back. So this is a 6 generational pattern on mom's side affecting trust.
I just got goosebumps all over my body.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have to clear that energy. When I think about this, though, think about 6 generations back. Women couldn't vote till what, I don't know, was it
And
1916 or something? Like we didn't have power.
that we couldn't
So
even have a bank account until the 50s.
yeah, so we couldn't, we didn't have power, so we really couldn't feel in trust completely. Yeah, and so the word that I get there is insecurity, lack of control, fear, overwhelm, worthless. They didn't feel worthy. Great grandmother may not have felt worthy. They weren't, and they like were powerless. We should put powerless here too, because they couldn't, they were just taking care of things. Is there another word I need to say? Yes. Is there an entity in the field? I feel like there's an entity. Let me find that. An entity is like an energetic, not always a demon, but a negativity.
Uh,
And again, this is generational.
Bad.
And so there's PTSD and martyr complex there.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense? Okay, okay, okay. So we want to clear all this. Is there another word I need to say? No. Is this a liar, thief, and a fraud? It's all three. So then we say, what did it do? Did it kill, steal, or destroy? It destroyed. And then we were going to redo the positive reclaiming words. So what did it destroy? Let's find the positive words now. Peace, comfort to have, strength, prosperity. So we're going to get back more peace, strength, comfort, and prosperity. And we have to clear those entities. So this is going to sound kind of loud here for a minute. I'm just going to ask for the martyr complex and the PTSD that's in the field. That's from your great, 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 grandmother on mom's side or grandfather. We just are commanding that energy leave. It can't be anywhere attached to you or anybody in the room. It can't be in your physical body, mental body, emotional body, or spiritual body in all space, time, and dimensions. That martyr complex, that PTSD must go now and go to the light. Must leave Tania and everyone listening. Leave now, go to the light. Rakma! Huh. Okay. I hope I didn't scare you guys, but maybe I did. Maybe it was good. Um, did you feel that, Tanya?
I did actually.
Awesome.
Um, I had my eyes kind of twitched,
Okay.
right? And it wasn't from the loud noise, it was after.
It was after. Okay. Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah, absolutely. So we cleared that energy. So then we just ask. So we did kind of the releasing part, right? So we ask, okay, did we clear everything around making that big impact about trusting and feeling ecstatic? Yes. So we kind of took out the trash. We did release. Now we want to integrate, put in the new program, rewire with your goals, your intentions about what you want to have happen here, right? And this is for everybody listening too. Now, this part looks different. Okay, so if you've never
Okay.
seen this before, they're codes in the field, they're numbers. Numbers is the universal language that speaks to the energetic field. It actually changes the rings around your brain. Your brain is a biocomputer. So think of this as the energy work of the brain, but the brain, body, mind, spirit.
Okay.
Okay. And so what I have you do is I have you say those intentions, and then I'm going to do some codes on you. Okay. And it works through Zoom. I've been doing events for years, even just on Zoom and in person.
Well, energy travels, right?
Yeah.
It's
I mean, we
not
do we
static.
do like prayer work with us all the time and integrate, all the time. So say I am making a big impact
I am making a big impact
for the people around me
for the people around me
and making a better life for myself,
and making a better life for myself,
my family, and my business.
my family, and my business.
I tell myself I trust that everything is going to work out my way.
I tell myself I trust that everything is going to work out my way.
And I feel ecstatic.
And I feel ecstatic.
Yay. Okay, so we're going to integrate that. Now, the first part of an integration is balancing your polarity. So we're going to put your right hand on your left shoulder and your left hand on your right shoulder. This balances the polarity in the body, the yin and the yang, the masculine, feminine. Okay, and it is one of the mind gems, which is 12 little exercises, this little brain hack, I'll give it to you guys, that balance the brain rings. I do them every morning, every night. They keep me grounded, focused, moving forward. Then we're going to switch it, meaning we're going to put the other arm on top. Good job. We're watching your face change throughout this whole thing. You'll have to watch this later.
Yes.
It's so cool. Then you can rest your hands, and then I'm going to do these circles, and I'm just going down your left leg, and I'm saying 2, 3, love. I'm circling like this. Okay. 2, 3, and they're called spin points. So think of them instead of acupuncture points, they're in the field.
Okay.
Okay. 2, 3, love. 5, 3, forgiveness. 6, 5, choice. 9, 2, freedom. 4, 2, greater love. Then we're going to come down your front. 4, 2. I think I'll have you say this. Say, I have positive self-worth.
I have positive self worth.
2, 2. Say, I choose to succeed.
I choose to succeed.
4, 4, I choose to live in joy.
I choose to live in joy.
And 6, 2, I choose to live by the higher laws.
I choose to live by the higher laws.
Excellent. Good job, Tanya. And then I'm going to do some extra ones. 1, 4, 7 on your back side. Have you look at my X. 4, 5. What we just did with those is balance the ring around this way around the brain, called the depth ring and the alignment ring. And then 9, 6 is the consciousness ring. Over the top of your head, 9, 6 is the cranial ring. I'm balancing rings. 8, 6 is the hearing ring. 6, 8 is the seeing ring. 3 to 9, 26 complete cycles, 5,859 times is the ring to all the rings. 2 to 8, 23 complete cycles, 2,623 times is the emotional vibration reset. Releasing trauma, 10, 5, 7, 8, 2, 8, 7, 7, 5, and the shock, 1, 2, 3, place with peace, 5, 2. 5 to 11, 37 complete cycles, 87,357 times. 4, 6, 7, 4, 4, 4, 4, 6, 9, 4, 2, 2, 2, 4, 4, 6, 2, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. Yay, did you feel that wind?
Wow. It's funny because all of this reminds me of so many different things that I feel you're putting all together in one session with, because I follow Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, Dr.
Mhm,
Bradenton. There are so many different scientific breakthroughs that are happening with epigenetics and all of these things. And
mhm,
your chakras with the rings and the balancing, and it's
mhm.
like looking at all of them being put together in
Yes.
one session, and it's absolutely amazing to me. And for those in the audience who know nothing about this, like I
Mhm,
didn't a few years ago, um just go look up, new breakthroughs in epigenetics and how science is now proving that the energetic frequencies really can help you heal your body,
mhm,
let go of traumas, do all of these things that Dr. Louise has just done for me and for all of us in the
mhm,
audience. So you can understand a little bit of what just happened. It's not,
mhm.
oh, here she's just doing these acts. It really is a very powerful clearing that she just did for us.
And it's
And
fast. Look how fast. And we want to lock it in now, so I'm going to have you restate these. But I've had people say, I do, all those meditations of Joe's every morning for 5 o'clock in the morning. I've been getting up and doing this for months. And one session with you was like, it changed it all because I'm doing brain soul. Doesn't mean that meditation, pranic healing, all the energy work isn't good. Heart math, it's awesome. I do it all. I do it all. But I was always looking for a faster way, Tanya. And I'm like, how can I help people faster? And how can I teach them something that they can learn quickly, not, you know, spend 3 months doing,
or
meditation.
20 years going
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly, exactly. So I'm going to have you say these again because we want to do what we call lock it in. Okay,
Okay.
so that it's solid. So say, I'm making a big impact with the people around me,
I am making a big impact with the people around me
and making a better life for myself, my family, and my business.
and making a better life for myself, my family, and my business.
Good. And I'm muscle testing. You're strong now. Awesome. Say, I tell myself I trust
I tell myself I trust
that everything is going to work out my way.
that everything is going to work out my way.
Beautiful. And then say, I feel ecstatic.
I feel ecstatic.
Beautiful. And then we're going to lock it in. And the way we lock it in is we clasp our hands together above our head. So kind of put your hands together. And if I was there, I would try to pull them down and you'd stay strong. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to cone our fingers on our right hand. And you're going to make a circle in front of your heart and say, 2, 2,
2, 2.
I choose to succeed.
I choose to succeed.
And then tap your belly button 8 times. That locks in that little process that we just did. How do you feel?
I feel ecstatic.
Good. Well, yay, because we just integrated for that. Awesome. Yeah,
It's
that's
like a combination of Reiki and just insanity. That was so amazing. And I know I know we're here talking about business and operations and how to create a successful business, but as all of you know by now, I am a big believer in working on yourself in order to be able to better your business. And
mhm.
it's all about how healthy you are, both physically, mentally, and spiritually and emotionally, right? It's not just one
Yes.
thing. So it is a holistic, you know,
Mhm.
experiment. Skill, whatever it is. You do have to take care of all parts of you in order to have a successful business. And
Yes, you
Dr.
do.
Louise, this was so amazing.
Well, thank you. And I'm so grateful that we could do this today, because I do find that that inner work makes such a big difference. I have so many business owners and entrepreneurs who've come to me and said, I've done all the classes, I've done all the webinars, I've done all the marketing, I've learned this, I've done the TEDx talk, I've done that, and I still don't have a successful business. I'm thinking of Bonnie. And then when we cleared everything for Bonnie, her brain worked better. And she started getting clients, and she finally had a retreat that she'd been wanting to have for 7 years. Now, that took her learning this and working on herself. And I remember she said that 4 months into doing the work. So, yes, we can do something quickly here just as a beginning, but you're right, there's layers. And I invite you all to, join us and learn it in the future because I promise you it will change your life forever. I've helped people make $3.2 million with this. One year we had 4 people get engaged. I mean, we've sold houses in 10 days. I mean, I can't, it's energy because it's energy, so the business becomes successful, but life things change too.
Yes, and this
Yes.
helps you be more in control and intentional about the energy that you have and that you're giving off rather than just having your subconscious control everything.
Yes, absolutely. So I always say it's like bigger than mindset work. You can do all the mindset work and all that, and that's good. You need to do that too. But if you don't clear it at the brain soul level, you don't clear those deeper layers, those traumas in the brain, like we found this ancestral string today. How would we know that?
Right?
Then you're gonna still kind of swim in a little pool of mud, like it's still not really moving the way you want it to move.
That's true. And,
You know?
they just came out with scientific breakthroughs that your emotions are actually regulated through your DNA and through your ancestors.
Yes.
Right. So what your mom went through, what her mom went through, et cetera, just like you did with the generational clearing, it really does stay with you and it affects you. I mean, they did this with rats and mice a long time ago, and they're finally now going, yeah, it's also for humans, right? We learn from our ancestors through our DNA.
Yes.
And
Yes,
it's
we
not just the
do.
physical body. It's
And they've done experiments too. I remember this experiment where they took uh somebody's DNA and they or like blood samples and they put it in two little petri dishes. And one was in the laboratory close to them, and the other one was 3 miles away in another building. And they subjected this petri dish of this blood to some frequency medicine. I've been doing frequency. I have 5 different biofeedback computers for years. And so they subjected that to the dish there in that room, and the dish 3 miles away with the blood, that changed too. Because everything is energy. So, you really can affect change in the energetic field in a big, beautiful way. And imagine if you have tools like this to constantly being able to change and upgrade yourself when you get stuck, or you have that tools for your people you work with if you're a coach. That's the beauty of this, you
That
know?
is amazing. That is
Yeah.
amazing. And I
Yeah.
love that you grew your business through learning and utilizing these tools yourself.
Hmm.
And that's how you're able to help and service more people. Um, so
I had a very wise coach, though. We all learn to make mistakes. I just want to help people see that, I'm vulnerable too. I mean, I'm working on this, and yes, I have these amazing tools, but I still remember being in a coaching call years ago, and I do this amazing work, and I don't know what I was complaining about or what I said, but very wise woman said to me, she said, "Why don't you use your own work on yourself?" Tanya, I was like, duh. I mean, she nailed it, right? So we all need help at different times. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I love helping people make a bigger impact.
and 100%. And I know this has not been the typical podcast episode, but I think it is actually a lot more valuable than a lot of practical things that we might come into, like a business plan and a budget. And we do need those for business. But again,
Mhm.
if you're not okay, if you're not open and you get rid of all of those beliefs that really aren't yours, probably, or they no longer serve you,
Mhm.
you're never going to get ahead, right? You're never going to be able to get over those obstacles where you're doing everything right. You're doing the marketing, you're working hard, you're doing the networking, and yet you don't see the fruits of your labor. And it's
Mhm.
usually because of some kind of energetic block.
Yes.
And Dr. Louise just cleared it for all of us. So please go back and re-listen to this and try to really think about what are some of those things that might be blocking you. Like what happened when you were 7, 8, 9, right? If you try to hone in on it, I think it's going to be a little bit easier to clear it and fill that void with the positive and the positive impact. Dr. Louise, how can people get a hold of you, work with you, do a little bit more, learn more about this?
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is louiseswartzwalter.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. And there is on the main page of my website is you scroll down, you can click on Mind Gems. It's free and get the Mind Gems because that's balancing the rings around the brain. And then also the Brain Soul Assessment. So the Brain Soul Assessment is questions. It's going to help you get clear. And then you have an opportunity to work with either myself or a team coach to find out what's your biggest block and what are your next steps. So you want to fill that out so that we can get that in our inbox and get you started on helping yourself create that big impact you want and the business that you desire.
I love it. And if you missed that, don't worry. It will be on the end of this podcast. It will also be in the comments on social media. Dr. Louise, that I cannot thank you enough for doing this and being so gracious as to give us all a clearing.
You're
Because I
welcome.
know that is what you do. That is your business. That is your service.
Mhm.
And so before I let you go,
Mhm.
I have one more question.
Okay.
If you had one piece of advice to give to a business owner or an entrepreneur to help them propel their success, what would that be?
Spend some time doing that inner work. The inner work is going to reflect in the outer more than you know.
That
We
is
ignore it. We do. I mean, I do. I mean, we're out there, we look for the networking events and the speaking, and that's good. We need to do that too, or, you're going to create like a whole new website or whatever you're going to do. It's really here that matters.
100%. And thank you again so much for your gracious giving. Please, if nothing else, look into what we did today. Do a little bit of research if you know nothing about it. And it will change your life. And thank you all for being here today. We will see you next time.
Thank you, Tanya.